So Michael, why this particular outlet and just a shopping day? I know obviously it's a bigger thing with the Reform Alliance and stuff with their families, but why is today and this event so important?
You know, when you think about it, I watched Meek go through the holiday season without his family when he was locked up, and it was, you know, I think for Meek, it was awful to live through, and it was, for me, awful to watch. And I think we want to make sure that all these kids that are here, that have parents that are currently incarcerated or previously incarcerated for technical violations, again, they didn't commit a crime, we want to make sure we can give them the best, you know, one of the best days of their lives. So to bring them here and give them a shopping spree, to have them meet Meek, to have them meet DJ Khaled, Karis LeVert, Clara Sy, to have them have a great experience, go shopping, get on the Patriots team playing, go to the Patriots game. We thought we could do something really special for them and make their holiday great. And at the same time, we're focused on changing these laws state by state. Right now in Pennsylvania, we have a House bill and a Senate bill that we hope to get done by the end of January, and that will change that will change thousands of people's lives and really hundreds of thousands of people's family lives. So for us, we want to help make these kids have a great experience, but we also want to help fix the overall problem. That's why this is so important.
And Meek, how did it feel when that little kid told you that you were his rap hero? This whole event and everything hits home to you, obviously, personally.
Yeah, it's a blessing that have a little kid from where I come from saying, look up to me and what I stand for. So, today, Mike came up with an idea of just, Mike, I informed Mike of everything that I call it the other side of America, what we go through and things that I went through coming up and my upbringing. And, he latched right on to it. He knew a lot of these things wasn't fair. Clara, Robert Kraft, they linked right up, and we did what we do. These things right here, they take a little bit of work, but we making them happen, and I think the kids will have a great day today.
Meek, what inspired you to form Reform Alliance?
Going to jail for not committing crime. That's what inspired me.
How did that change your life?
How did it change my life? It changed my life when people came out and stood up for me. I came back home and stood up for the people that stood up for me. Basically, you know what I'm saying? It just made me stand up for the same people that stood up for me.
And Michael, what inspired you to stand up for Meek?
I'll be completely blunt. If it hadn't been a really close friend of mine that was going through this, and had I not seen it firsthand, I wouldn't have. But seeing it firsthand and having the ability to help make a difference, I think you would have been a bad human being if you didn't jump in. And I think watching Meek sit in prison day after day, knowing that he popped a wheelie and he got sent to jail for 2 to 4 years, it was the first time in my life I felt out of control because I couldn't just snap my fingers and get him out of prison.
To my white friend, it was out of control. To us, it was a normal day. And someone that actually lives a fair life, got a taste of it, and he stepped up, really, what I'm saying, as a good friend first. It started off as me and Michael having a relationship. He seen it firsthand and stepped up, and we took it and carried it and built Reform and doing things like this today.
But here's the important thing. It really started with, in the beginning, this was just about how to get my brother out of prison. Jay-Z felt the same way. Yeah. And then I think when my eyes were opened, and I think we all realized this problem was so much bigger than Meek's case, but there were, there's 4.5 million people on probation and parole in the United States. We have 5 times the rate of incarceration of the rest of the world. So, when we realized how big the problem was, I think Meek came out of prison saying to me, Michael, things happen for a reason. We got to turn this into something bigger. And I, as an entrepreneur, I'm used to finding opportunities in business and turning those into something bigger. So I think we said, it's kind of like, this is destiny. We got to fix this problem. And I think, we couldn't be more bullish today that if we can take this horrific situation that Meek lived through, that these 50 plus kids that are here today that have moms and dads that are currently incarcerated, previously incarcerated for not committing a crime, if we can turn this into fixing the laws on a state-by-state basis, then we can help millions or tens of millions of people's lives. And that's something, to me, to be honest, it's more inspiring than what I do on a day-to-day basis in my work career. And I think Meek would say the same thing about fixing the criminal justice system versus rapping.
Guys, thank you. I want them to be able to shop with the kids a little bit, so thank you guys for coming. Let them.
Clara's coming right now.
Mike.
All right, so since you guys started Reform, what's the biggest change that you feel like you've seen?
I think since we started Reform, I think we're educating. I mean, we've already educated tens of millions of people. You've got to teach people about this issue. I had no idea that it existed. Clara, get in.
They're going to come after.
Okay.
They're going to come after.
Okay.
They're going to do the next round.
So, for us, I think getting the message out there has been so important. We've already got, in Pennsylvania, both in the House and in Senate, bills to get passed that will change all the laws in Pennsylvania. And Pennsylvania today is actually the second worst state in the country. And when we get these laws changed, it's going to work fairly and appropriately. So I think we've made great progress on getting the message out there and educating tens of millions of people. I think we're going to start changing the laws on a state-by-state basis.
All right, Michael Meek can go shopping. Clara and Karis can
Switch them out.
Switch it up.
Mike right there.
I look like a ball player.
All right, go shopping, guys. Switch it up. Go shopping, guys.
I thought this was a real pretty.
Michael, real quick. Let me see. Just got here.
You guys are up.
All right. Does anyone have questions for Karis or Clara? Michael.
Go shopping.
What's that?
Walk down.
All right.
Clara, what was it about this particular initiative that got you excited with Michael and everybody to start reforming?
Well, I've been interested in economic mobility for most of my life because I grew up daughter of immigrants. My dad was a professor at the University of Kansas, and I didn't grow up with a lot of privilege, but really saw what privilege was. And so mobility is a big issue with me, and we concentrate all of our mobility efforts in Brooklyn naturally. And you really can't talk about economic mobility in Brooklyn without talking about criminal justice reform. Many people in Brooklyn, but also in urban environments, basically are in this endless cycle, right, of incarceration, probation, parole, and then often going back to prison for technical, non-criminal reasons. So that's just one way. So we focus a lot of our efforts in Brooklyn on economic mobility, and criminal justice reform is a big part of that.
So is this something that's going to be a big push for you as, owner of the Brooklyn Nets with your husband?
Yeah, absolutely. Criminal justice reform, there's so many ways to contribute in this area, and Reform Alliance is one. That is a long-term game because it's trying to change laws and policy, and we know that's not easy, right? So at the same time, we're also trying to change the narrative and trying to change hearts and minds so that people are aware of these issues, and that's partly why we're doing this today, is really so that more and more people know exactly the injustices, especially around the imprisonment for technical non-criminal violations.
Karis, you're in the NBA story. Do you feel like the NBA players all recognize how big of an issue this is?
Yeah, I think so. Especially with Meek being the captain for it, and us obviously everyone being huge fans of Meek and respecting what he's been through and everything like that. I think it's definitely becoming more and more important for everyone to kind of know exactly what's going on with the criminal justice system and familiarize ourselves with everything.
Any additional questions for Clara or Karis?
Karis, what was the cause me to personally reform?
It's huge for me because it could happen to anyone. Like Meek's situation is very near and dear to all of us because he got 2 to 4 for popping a Willie in his neighborhood. So I feel like that can happen to anyone at any different time. And these kids, obviously their parents, that happened to them at some point or another. So just being here, supporting them in any way we can is huge for us.
Thank you so much.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.